could look at is, we just had unbelievable effort against Arizona State. I think we've been a little bit of a yo-yo on effort and bringing the energy that's required to succeed at this level. Heck, nothing matters if you don't match the other team's intensity and effort and again, energy. So I think we can go back a few games and we were a little bit lax on that in that area against Cal, and they dictated. We turn around and give great energy and play, Stanford kind of toe to toe. So we've shown two different teams, as starting games and energy wise. And so I was really, obviously disappointed in how we, just responded to the aggression and the physicality of Arizona. But Arizona played great. But we just didn't have much energy to our team whatsoever. And the whole day was a long day for us. So it was a long film session, that they got to watch and got to see themselves. And it's not anything, some of it is we can't even deal with X's and O's if we don't play at a higher level. So I really was pleased with the response of our team and how hard they played against Arizona State. Leading, Tara was amazing. LA's been continues to be consistent, and a lot of players just, again, there wasn't a player on the court that didn't give us great energy and effort. So it starts there. Yes, I think if we can carry that over, if we've made if that's something that's dawned on our players, that's a requirement, that's a need. We don't have someone that can bail us out when we don't bring that anymore. So I think that's the biggest thing that I want our team to learn from these past 2 weeks.
When you look at kind of this slate of games, and especially with Oregon State on Friday, obviously they've had quite the turnaround after a couple tough years. Does it make it tougher to prepare for them, though, when you're not really sure who you're going to see on the floor, just because Beers got hurt against UCLA and then didn't play on Sunday, and she's obviously kind of, the key cog to their offense? Does it change the way you guys have to kind of prepare for them, because they obviously look a lot different if she's not in the paint?
Well, I think they just play the same, though. I mean, Scott does an amazing job. He manages games so unbelievably well. They run really a million plays, so you can't scout plays. You just have to, obviously know how you're going to play certain personnel and schemes. But their lineup is really good, and they just have weapons all over the floor. Gardner obviously is just a beast and a hard matchup, no matter if Beers is on the floor or not. So I'm not feeling sorry for Scott in any way. If he's a little, banged up, I don't want Beers to be injured. I hate that they have that injury. I assume that she will be back, and clearly, I'm excited for him and the potential of his team as they look for the NCAA tournament. I think they've got a team built so incredibly well. And yeah, different if she's not on the court, but still, very, very much a threat at basically 5 positions on the floor every single day.
Sunday, obviously senior night. As we know, Bella and Beyonce out of eligibility. Who else are you guys planning on honor, if anyone?
I think we have 6. So we've got Ekin, who's been a part of our program for as long as Charlize has been here. Jess is a senior, and Yo, she said B, and yeah, and obviously Charlize. So those are the seniors. I think there's 6 of them. So we got a big lineup. We're going to end up doing that after the game, just with that kind of lineup and that many players. So just time-wise, we just don't think that's a good thing to try to rush through with that, especially as important as those players have been to our program.
And when it comes to Jess, Yo, and Charlize, they obviously still have that extra year. Have they made a finalized decision on what the next few months, next year holds?
No, I don't think they have. Again, all of them are at different stages of their career. All of them have battled injuries. I think Jess is probably the one that I would look at and go, I definitely think she's going to be done. It's just been long-term for her. And Yo's in a different spot because actually she's starting to feel a little bit better because of all the time off she's been able to take. And clearly Charlize has, aspirations for next level things. So all of them are different spots and have different, their decisions need to be very individualized and what's going to be best for them in their future career. But it's still up in the air, and we'll know soon, probably.
Yeah, you've got 4 games left in the regular season. Is there a certain number of wins in the next 4 games that you think would lock you into the NCAA tournament? Have you thought about that at all?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm just a guessing person, I would say we need 3 more wins, regardless. Even considering at least 3 more wins. Including the PAC tournament.
And the Pac-12 tournament. Okay.
Yeah, I think we have to win a game there,
Okay.
and then at the very least we have to split. These next 4 games probably. And if you do split, you're at least beating, one top ranked team. So hard to even imagine, the lineup that we have to face, these next 4 games. But it's we're playing for a lot no matter what. We're playing, just this team can get better. This team can play at a higher level. You're playing for the future because we have a lot of young players getting every opportunity to play against top teams. I mean, I can't think of a better situation for us to put ourselves out there and try to keep getting better and try to put ourselves out in postseason.
The first time around when you played Colorado and Utah, you were kind of in a shock mode because you just lost Charlize. You think this time around, even though you're going on the road, you feel like you'll be a little more prepared?
Well, playing those 2 teams at home and one of them being on their senior night, it's no matter what. On the road, it's different and hard and great environments. You have to be pretty perfect to win on the road against a ranked team. So, but our matchups were pretty good. And yes, we were just coming off of not having Charlize. But hopefully we're getting healthier. People are feeling better. Our rotations and younger players have gotten good minutes. I want us to keep getting better and growing. And we know those 2 teams pretty well, and played them well here. So I have a lot of confidence in our team and think we can match up with the people in this league. And we've shown glimpses of matching up unbelievably well. We just have to be able to put a 40-minute game together.
Thanks. So with Charlize obviously has a decision to make, but regardless of that, what is the opportunity to coach her meant to you over the last 4 years?
Yeah. Oh boy. Obviously Charlize walked into this program as a freshman and impacted it and changed it forever. I think between her and Crystal, from the year before and then those 2 step on the court, that was and is the greatest, transformation. Like our program changed when those 2 players became eligible and stepped on the floor. Charlize has dominated, our program. She I think has only gotten better as a leader. When Crystal leaves and left our program, it just became Charlize's team. But in so many ways, Charlize is the face of our program, and the growth and the skyrocket and the success that we've had is because she stepped on the court as a mature, fundamental, competitive, just elite leader, elite worker, and just an all-around unbelievably great person. She's a great student. She's she's got a million friends. She has and the weight of the world has really been on her ever since she stepped on here. The expectation has been so big, but she's never backed down to any challenge, or she's just unafraid of any moment. And I love that. Just a great competitor that stepped into the bigness of the Pac-12 when nobody thought she could probably, do it at this level, and has just dominated our program and led us to, the winning legacy that I think that she's directly responsible for.
And now with Charlize playing a coaching role over the last several weeks, you've talked about what that's meant to you, and what has that meant to the players? How have they received hearing Charlize's voice from the bench versus on the court?
Well, I don't think that's anything abnormal at all. They've always heard from her. She's just on the court doing it, and now she's on the sideline. She just has the ultimate respect from every teammate and everyone within our program. I mean, the fact that she comes into our locker room, the coaches' locker room, and talks to us and makes great points and things that we then go talk to the team about. So she's elite. Her mind is as good as I've ever been around. She sees the game. She knows our system. She knows what to look for. She has a great feel for individual players and what they need to hear and where she needs to step in and try to help them within, hard moments of a game. Again, if she's in that role, she just has been great in that role. It's not the one that we want her in, but she's accepted it and understands that this is the way she can help our program right now, and she's all in to do that.
When you listed off the seniors this year, obviously the majority of them have been through 3 NCAA tournaments, the Pac-12 championship, a lot of great things for this program. What has their kind of collective and individual contributions meant to the program, and how would you characterize that, and how have you characterize what their contributions have meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of endless. I think when you think of Washington State and women's basketball, you're going to think back to this class in so many ways. These are the kids that have been here, 4 years, 5 years with Bella. They're the faces of our program. They're the ones that turned this thing and were a part of turning this thing and creating, 3 back-to-back NCAA appearances, and now potentially with a 4th postseason. So they're going to be known as the group that changed, again, Washington State from a program that hadn't really ever won consistently to a program that won consistently. And I just can't imagine how amazing that is. And I want that to be spoken about. Like they changed an average program and made it into an above average and a competitive program in the toughest league in the country. Just special human beings, special competitors, not perfect players, had to do it the hard way, had to really, work at their game and become better players. And yet they're so, they're pretty courageous to go into this league and play against some of the top players in the country, players in the world, and compete against them and then ultimately beat a lot of them. So they'll forever be up in the rafters with that Pac-12 championship and those banners that show the NCAA appearances. They are the springboard for where we want to continue to be. They are the examples that we speak to when we talk to recruits that we're trying to come in and follow after them. They're just difference makers, and they will forever, like I said, be the reason why Washington State has kind of become relevant in women's basketball.
And when you think back to the conversations you had with each of them when you brought them to WSU, when during the recruitment process, can you say that you've kind of made good on those promises or expectations?
Oh gosh, it kind of still goes back to when those guys chose us. They could only listen to our vision of what we would be. And so they couldn't look at what we were becoming because we weren't winning yet. So they chose us on just our word and our vision and our hope for the program. And so that takes, a connection and some belief in where we were going and the support that we were going to have here at Washington State to make this thing happen. So they believed in that. And then they believed in themselves to be, to be as good as anyone else in the pack. They wanted that competition. They wanted to go play against the best players in the country. So they believed in themselves. They believed in what we saw of them, and together we thought we could build this thing. And I think that's come true. I think we've done some things that no one thought could happen. We're not satisfied. We want to continue to do those things, but I think we've made pretty good on our vision for them as players. We wanted them to be the very best basketball players they could be when they left here, and we wanted them to be great teammates. And I just can't think of anyone in that group that is not those two things. They've just committed to being great on and off the court. And and I think together we've accomplished some pretty amazing things for Washington State.
And one last question from me about the current young group of players that you have. You talked about on the post-game radio show for ASU about the mental toughness to win without Charlize being like a weakness that the team had to overcome. Over the course of like that Saturday preparing for that game, and then over the course of this week, how have you seen your team kind of address that weakness and address the idea and come to terms more with the idea of playing without Charlize? And did their performance against ASU give you hope that your team is capable of overcoming that idea?
Again, I liked our team against Stanford as well. We played without Charlize against Utah and Colorado, and toe to toe with two of the best teams in the country, and then Stanford. Where I was really disappointed with just in the game against, again, how we played. It's not, Cal was amazing. They were really good. They deserved to win. I didn't like what we brought against Cal and Arizona, but both those teams played exceptional and obviously deserved to win. So much of what we need to be is just consistent in how we approach games and how we compete in games, and what we're going to bring to the table in every game that we play. And I like our freshmen learning these lessons. They're hard lessons to watch film when you literally you can show clip after clip after clip of bad effort, bad trans D, bad screening, bad using screens. I mean, just again, fundamental things, discipline things that if we don't do those things, we just have no chance to win. And in the games that we did them well, we were right there against great teams. And when we didn't do them well, we got beat against really good teams as well. So these freshmen are stepping into the biggest moments I can even think of. Like LA has been as good as I've ever been around for someone so young. I think Jenna and Kira and Alex are all great players, and they will be a part of our future going forward. I mean, that's a great young lineup that is learning the lessons the hard way through the fire of playing just a gauntlet of top 10, top 15 teams in the country. So, but this is what they signed up for. They wanted this. They didn't want it easy. They could have picked a million places where they wouldn't be playing this competition. So I love that about these guys. They have the mindset of wanting to be great, and they're doing the work that it takes. And we got to keep building pieces around them and making sure that we're going to stay at a level of high level basketball.